Welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast, Building Winners, week 17. It's been a while. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about the delay, or whatever the pause or break was, I guess. There was just so much going on with the move out to California and just a few other things that were just kind of going on in my brain. So we're good now. We're back. So I'm ready to take you through what's going on. So in this episode specifically, I want to do two things. I want to take you through just kind of where my teams are at, take good stock of where I'm at. So something that you should do as well with your teams as you prep for playoffs is really taking a look at how your team is composed, how it's structured, and is it actually a competitor? Where are you weak? Where are you strong? That sort of thing. So that's what we're going to take a look at with my teams here today. Then I also need to make some ads for tomorrow because I picked up Philip Zadina in a lot of leagues, and well, he's out. So now I need to go and actually swap Zadina out. So let's swap him out. And on top of that, I'll give you updates, let you know how things go in my league. We'll do another video, most likely on Thursday, where I'm going to walk you through a little bit more of prep and kind of take you through where the whole league is at. For today's episode, I'm going to focus just on my teams pretty much exclusively. Then we'll go into it a little bit more detail on Thursday. How does the whole league look? All the different leagues. Who's my biggest competition? How are they composed? What do I need to target to be able to beat those teams that I might be a little bit afraid of? Which are pretty much things, like I said, things you should be doing in your own leagues as well. So hopefully maybe watching me do this can help you kind of figure out how to do it in your league as well. So let's start off first with the Keeper League, ECFHL, currently in first place. Thank you very much. It is a fun time to be in this Keeper League. So we've done a few things here. The team is actually a lot different than the last time I showed you it. For one, Brent Burns is off. So let's go back here to the league. I'll show you as well how big my lead is right now. 180 to 173. So I have at least a 1 week lead over second place at the moment. So I'm feeling really good. I still have a lot of waiver budget. So if someone, Voracek was dropped, for example, I could go and grab Voracek if I wanted to at some point. I don't think I will, but it just gives me a little bit more freedom now to be able to go and actually pick up the guys I want. So there's that. And let's go to trades really quick. I want to show you all the trades I've made because some of the trades I made were specifically kind of for playoffs in a way, just to put me in a good spot, kind of good buy lows. So let's look at my team only here, the Land of Petey's. It feels good. Feels good to be back. Okay, so here's the trades I made. So these ones you already knew about. This Ehlers one was the one I did on camera pretty much in prep for. So let's talk about what we did first here. This was January 11th, so a while ago, but I did it all in like the span of a week. I like doing all my playoff trades and all my trades way before trade deadline because you get things going, but you also get a lower price, I think, than when I like setting the market price. I feel confident enough that I can set a market price and not get screwed out. So here's what I did. So I traded away Nikolai Ehlers and Brent Burns, and I got back Tyler Seguin and Anthony Duclair. Now, obviously, Duclair has been trash, not very good, but that's okay. Really, for me, it was more that Anthony Duclair is a throw-in. He works out or he doesn't. Either way, he's a streamer. I turned Nikolai Ehlers into a streamer, essentially. And he hasn't been fantastic. I mean, he's 142nd ranked. He's that borderline guy where it's like, he's worth rostering, but also not worth rostering, and he has a bad schedule at some points during the fantasy playoffs. So to me, it was more of just, whatever. If Ehlers is what gets it done, I'm fine with it. I get Tyler Seguin back, who can't buy a goal for his life right now, but his shots are ridiculous. And so I wanted the shot because I'm trading away Brent Burns, right? So what do I get back? Well, first and foremost, what Brent Burns gives you that's really safe normally are the shots. And so when it comes to that trade away of Brent Burns, the first thing I was looking for was I need shots. That's the one thing I need to make sure that I don't fall behind in because Brent Burns gives me so many of those. And on top of that, Tyler Seguin gives me a lot of upside. And of course, he immediately becomes a keeper. So that's mostly why I picked up Tyler Seguin there. And he has a center right wing, which I like. And then after that, I went over and I was like, you know what? Okay, now I need to fix my defense a little bit. I got rid of Brent Burns. Now I need to fix my defense. What am I going to do there? And so what I did is I floated Taylor Hall out there. Taylor Hall wasn't really doing much for me. At the time, this was before Taylor Hall started going off, so I traded him kind of right before he started getting all these points here, which kind of sucks because I think his price would have gone up way more if I would have waited a little bit, but I really needed defense kind of immediately. And the trade worked out for me. So I did Taylor Hall, Patrick Hornquist, and my 11th rounder for their JT Miller, Jacob Trouba, and 8th round. I was targeting Trouba specifically, who in this league is ranked 49th, and it's mostly because of the shots, hits, and blocks that he gets you. It's just he covers so many peripherals, and I was specifically interested in Trouba because I wanted to shore up peripherals. I wanted to almost never be afraid that I was going to lose peripherals. I wanted to feel very confident in those categories. And then the person pretty much said, hey, what about JT Miller on top of it? Is that fair? I was like, yeah, I'll happily take JT Miller off your hands, who, mind you, is ranked 21st in the league. So it was essentially JT Miller for Taylor Hall is the way I'm seeing it. And then Patrick Hornquist for Trouba, I guess. And then I got a higher pick out of it too. So it ended up being a huge win for me. And JT Miller obviously has been fantastic. He also fills out the peripherals that I need while also giving me point upside. And then, of course, the Jacob Trouba, who gets me the peripherals, like I was saying. Now, I made one more trade there with one of the bottom of the table teams because I just wanted to up I wanted to get more upside, and I wasn't playing Dubois. Dubois was getting benched all the time, and of course, look at his stats recently, right? That sucks that I don't have him now, but my centers are pretty stocked, as you'll see in a second, but I was always benching Dubois, and so I didn't really care what I got for Dubois. I just needed some kind of upgrade in some other position, and the position I targeted the most was defense there. I really wanted to upgrade my defense position because I traded away Brent Burns, wanted a little bit of safety, and I had, of course, Jacob Trouba, who now gets me peripherals, so I could target a guy like Chabot, who I thought, and we've said this on the show before, I thought is kind of one of those guys where it's a little bit of a buy low, but at the same time, you're going to get what he's worth. And the same thing in the draft. Chabot was someone who, when you drafted him, you were getting exactly what you drafted from a value perspective. And that's what I like about Chabot. He's one of the safest trade targets for me just because you know what you're going to get. And it's worked out for me so far. He's been getting me what I wanted. I really wanted assist more than anything, assist upside at least, and then solid shots. And so that's what he's been doing for me there. And then on top of that, I was able to get Mark Stone, who's been honestly not as good as I would have hoped since picking him up. But he's been fine. He hasn't been as great as I would like, but he's been fine enough. And I gave up Timo Meier, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and my first rounder for that. I didn't really care about losing my first rounder in this scenario. I really need to get rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois. I got a 6th round out of it, which I'm happy with. Last year, my 6th rounder, I think, was Dougie Hamilton. So my 6th rounder, or it was... it wasn't Brady. Brady, I think, was 4th in this league, 4th round. But either way, a 6th round pick to me is pretty good, and I don't mind too much losing that first round pick. So this is how my team looks now. And I went to take a look at my playoff schedule, and I bench once throughout the entire playoffs. All the playoffs, I only bench once, and I have like 60 starts each playoff week. So I'm sitting pretty right now. And then as far as like how my team is composed right now, so I did have Oliver Bjorkstrand on IR Plus for a long time, finally activated him, so I do have Oliver Bjorkstrand here, which is awesome. I have Brady, and then right now Anthony Duclair is the guy getting benched a lot, which is fine, mostly just because, I mean, yeah, he hasn't been doing much, but he did play 19 minutes last game, so I'm hopeful here. But again, like I said, that Duclair trade, Duclair was not the make or break thing here. The make or break thing there with Duclair was just the fact that he could turn into something, or he turns into a streamer, and I finally get rid of Nikolai Ehlers, who is that borderline. And as a first place guy, I don't really care about a guy like Ehlers, like that borderline ownable but not ownable. I'd rather have a streamer spot or someone with a really high ceiling than someone like that. And Ehlers isn't to me a guy with a really high ceiling. He's just kind of a what you see is what you get guy. So I really like how my team is composed now. I mean, my defense is Trouba, Pietrangelo, Tony D'Angelo, Thomas Chabot, and Dougie Hamilton, of course, right after I traded Brent Burns, sort of. He went to the IR, which sucked. So Dougie Hamilton is now out. But at least I made those trades for Chabot. I mean, if Hamilton would have gone out and then I would have had to make those defensive trades, I would have gotten fleeced because they knew I needed defense. And so far for me, it worked out that I went to get Chabot and Trouba to patch the hole of Brent Burns. And of course, my goaltender is still doing really well, Connor Hellebuck and Andrei Vasilevsky. So I'm feeling pretty good about how my team is going. And I played... I think I might have played first place last week. Was it last week or the week before? I played 6th place last week. I played 3rd place and I lost. It was a bad week for the boys. They did very poorly. I mean, my goaltenders did bad. But I mean, I'm still in first. And that's at the end of the day what matters. And I think I'm in a position here where I have quite a few streamer spots that I'm happy with, especially going into the playoffs. I'll have a few. If Tony D'Angelo doesn't pick it up, he's been good as of late. He's back on the top power play, so he's been fine. He's a guy that I'm going to hold and see what happens. But you can turn Philip Zadina here into a streamer spot. You can turn Duclair into a streamer spot and Buchnevich. So effectively right now I have a really, really solid starting roster that I'm extremely happy with. And then I have 3 spots to stream out of, which gives me a lot of flexibility. And hopefully one of those turns into more of a long-term stream. And that's why I'm also being patient here with Duclair. It's because I have 2 other streamer spots that can make up that difference. Oh, getting a call. But I have that space to make up if if one of those guys happens to fall off. So let's go and make an ad really quick here for Philip Zadina first. So now that you've seen kind of where my team is at and how I'm feeling, this week's matchup, I'm up 3-2 at the moment. I have 51 games remaining to their 44 games remaining. So I do have to look up, yes, the definition of remaining. Shocking. Oh, it doesn't show up on, that's surprising. So I had it show up. It was trying to tell me what remaining means. I know what remaining means. Thank you, Apple. But yeah, so my team looking good so far. I've had some starts. I accidentally benched Buchnevich yesterday, who got the goal and power play point. So that is disappointing, but I am playing 8th place, so I'm not too scared at the moment. Famous last words there, but feeling good. So let's take a look here at what's on the free agent list. And on top of that, let's look at what I can actually, let's first look at what I have here. What can I do? So obviously I'm not picking up for Tuesday, so Wednesday is still in play here. Wednesday I do have room, okay? And we're swapping out Zadina here. So this is going to be good. This is the same research pretty much I need to do for all the other teams that we're going to look at too for Zadina. So good to do this now. So I have room every day. I think Saturday I'm not going to have room, of course. I do have room for a defenseman. So it may be smart to target a defenseman here. And Sunday, I also have room. So let's see what we can do. Let's play smart. So I have room every single. So this is our off nights tool. If you haven't used it before, you absolutely should. I'll put a link down in the comments. The pinned comment that I always put down there with when I talk about certain teams, I'll add the link to this down there as well. So the best schedule by far is going to be the Rangers, the Detroit Red Wings, surprisingly the Minnesota Wild, and the Toronto Maple Leafs here. So one interesting thing that I could do if I wanted to is, for example, you see the Toronto Maple Leafs here. They have a game Wednesday and Friday, 2 very easy games on top of that. And so I could get these 2. And then I do have a defenseman spot on Saturday. So I could pick up, for example, a Boston defenseman or a Colorado defenseman or an LA defenseman. Just one of these defensemen here that are going to get me Saturday and Sunday starts. So I effectively add 4 starts. If I were to just target off nights specifically, I'm probably only going to get 2 starts or 3 starts. So I think that my best bet here is let's check out what's on Toronto, because I think that Wednesday and Friday I have room on any position. Let's see. So I have any position Friday because I have that util as well. And I have anything Wednesday. I also have any room. Okay, so we can go whatever we want. So let's take a look at Toronto, because I think Toronto's the best bet here because of that schedule. And then I can swap back out. So Thursday we'll swap back out for or Friday we will swap back out for Saturday, Sunday. So let's look at what's available for us. So it's Kasperi Kapanen playing 14 minutes. I don't love it, but it's not awful. Don't really like Careful. I mean, it depends on what I'm going for here, right? If I want peripherals, I could go Cody Ceci, for example, and just get peripherals, but he only played 13 minutes. I think he's going to get in trouble here because he's been playing real bad. Andreas Janssen, not doing terrible, but no peripherals there. Justin Hall, Jason Spezza actually has been playing a little bit better, but not enough for me to actually. This is the problem with them, is there's not a lot here on Toronto. I mean, really the only option is let's get Martin Marincin. I think the only option here is going to be Kasperi Kapanen. So let's just put something in for Kapanen, just because the schedule makes so much more sense. I mean, this is atrocious. I also need to check here. I'm not even going to pay anything. I don't think anyone's going to grab him. Let's look at how many ads. So I've made 0 of 4 player ads. So another thing I could do is pick up solely for Wednesday. The other team that has a Wednesday, Friday are the Rangers. Let me see if the Rangers have anything interesting left. Brady Shea might be a little bit interesting just because he's... Yeah, Brady Shea may be interesting. He's been doing some stuff. Brennan Lemieux, actually, he always has these weird games where he just crushes it randomly. Capo Caco. There's this... Hedel was actually playing on the top line for a bit last game, so that might be something to watch. So he got 18 minutes last game, so Hedel might be one to watch. Brett Howden, I entirely hate Brendan Smith. I can't believe he's still playing. Michael Haley played... he got scratched. Giuseppe actually got some top line time last game as well, which is weird. I mean, I don't know what the hell David Quinn is doing anymore, honestly. It just makes no sense. So let's actually take a gamble here on... I'll have 4 Rangers this week. Good Lord. Let's take a gamble on I like Kako or Heedle. Let's go Heedle first and foremost because he's been practicing up on that top line. He's such a long shot, but I'll take it for now. And then I think I'm going to do Kako as well, just because if Kako is the one who gets that top line time, then I don't hate it. Yeah, so let's do Kako. Don't love either of these, but these are the 3 guys that'll get me 2 games, and then I can pick up again. And I do have room Thursday, so in theory, I could go back and just get someone for Wednesday, right? Or pick up a... For example, if DeBrusque is out... No, DeBrusque got picked up. I think if DeBrusque is out there, he could be an interesting one just for today or something. Yeah, he got picked up. Sucks. So anyway, so there you go. So that's what I'm going to try to do for today. McCann's been doing better. There's also Boone Jenner, who has a okay skill. He hasn't been getting any peripherals, though. It's crazy. Toffoli's been shooting like a madman. Good lord. Let's just see what I'm just curious what he's at here. Yeah, he's been doing really well. I mean, the Kings just have such an atrocious schedule here. I mean, they do have the Isles, the Devils, and the Rangers. He's going to be a good Saturday, Sunday pickup here. The Toffoli, Saturday, Sunday, he gets the Devils and the Rangers. That's a great schedule for him. So we'll save him for later. And for now, I like what we're doing. And then Paul Stastny has been doing, he was on long-term targets for Brandon, playing 20 minutes. He's a really interesting guy that I could also grab for long-term. If we look at Vegas, just has a terrible schedule this week. I may want to just wait and pick him up next week. He's a center. This league is patient on center. So, okay, so there you go. That is what we're going to do. We're going to see what happens. Hopefully I can get one of Kasperi Kapanen, Heedle, Kako. I absolutely will. I'd like Kapanen more than these other 2 right now, in my opinion. Not by a lot, but by enough that I'm going to go for it and see what happens. I don't really like any of them. But sometimes you just got to grab someone who you hate and go with it and see what happens. So there you go. I feel good about that. Buchnevich is actually maybe a drop too, just because he got bumped. He got in trouble. He scored a goal, and then I guess he wasn't good on his own zone or something like that, and so then he got benched. So there's that. Okay, so let's move over now to Hockrus and see what the hell is going on over there. So this is Hockrus. Here is my team. I have made no moves. This team is really putting me in a tight spot. Let me start my lineup here too. Yeah, I'm in 3rd now. Last time I didn't update, I was in 2nd place in this league. Now I'm in 3rd, and my team is honestly just... let's do this too. Let's be smart. Let's bring in Doughty. Let's bring in Doughty. Put Zadina there. So then, okay, cool. Zadina's there now. So I picked up Korpisalo just because I need to drop Reimer, but I picked up Korpisalo. I like his chance of coming back. Grubauer's been atrocious, so I may need to drop Grubauer at some point, and Korpisalo is a great handcuff to have there in case, just a good goaltender to have on my IR+. I was able to add him straight to IR+, didn't need to do anything in terms of dropping anyone, so it left me in a good spot. So what we're looking at with this team is there's a little bit of a... What I don't like about my team at the moment here is that the ceiling is really low. You have guys like Ekholm, Connor Murphy, even Kyle Palmieri to an extent. Like, you just have these guys who really don't have a lot of ceiling. Like, there's just not a lot of exciting stuff happening. I have Sam Reinhart. I mean, John Carlson obviously can go off, but there's not a lot of guys who can go off. Timo Meier can't go off. Huberto can go off, I guess. He played 14 minutes last game. Lovely. Matthew Barzal can. Blake Wheeler, and then Evander Kane could go off, but the problem is the Sharks suck. And so my issue with this team right now is there's not a lot of upside. And so I'm falling behind in a lot of matches or matchups and having some difficulty just because there's just not... I just lose out in points, especially. I just don't... I mean, I lost assists by 2 last week, which sucks, but it is what it is. I lost PIMs when I was the 3rd best PIM guy, so that happens, but... a lot of things I'm gonna with this team. What's gonna have to happen in the playoffs? I don't know why I couldn't say that word. What's gonna have to happen in the playoffs is I'm just gonna have to be really good at streaming. I'm gonna have to stream really well. And right now I have a few spots I can stream. I could stream out Palmieri's spot. I can stream out Connor Murphy's spot or Ekholm's spot if I really need to. So I want at least 2. I want 2 or 3 streamer spots on this team just because the ceiling is not very high, and the only way to up that ceiling is to pick up streamer guys who's going to get you 3 starts extra or something like that and put you in a good spot for the playoffs. David Riddick was still available, which is kind of insane, but I mean, he's been weird. So I am currently 100. I have 191 points. I am 20 points behind Brandon at the moment, who's in first place. Quite ahead on fourth place. So right now, the playoffs in this league are a little bit more set, I guess. I'm not really, I don't think I'm going to do trades because a lot of the guys that I have are either sell at a low point or sell high. Bjorkstrand is the only guy I might float, but honestly, this league isn't great about trading. The guys here don't trade that much, and especially again with me and Brandon, they don't like trading with us. So I'm in a little bit of a tough spot, and like I said, I'm going to have to rely pretty much exclusively on streaming for this league if I want to make it out ahead. And it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. There's not a ton to take advantage of, but I think I can do it. I mean, I've had some really good weeks, some really bad weeks. It's really up or down. So I feel good, but yeah, it's not great. So right now, I actually don't need to pick up now because I have Philip Zadina, but just know that because I was able to put him on IR Plus because of Doughty, so I'm fine now. But put him in for Connor Murphy here. So this is where Palmieri might be a streamer spot eventually. Connor Murphy might be a streamer spot. I do have James Reimer actually. So let's dump James Reimer for a second. Let's see what I have here. So I have spot Wednesday, obviously. I have defenseman on Thursday. So I could do something Thursday here too, or could do Friday. So let's look at Toronto and see so we know Toronto and the Rangers have a good schedule here. But let's look at Toronto and see who's out there. I mean, if Hyman is there, I'm absolutely picking him up, but I think he's probably picked up already. Yeah, he got picked up. Sucks. Yeah, all these guys suck. Justin Holl, even Kasperi Kapanen in his own. Man, people are picking him up in droves. Sandin is kind of interesting, but I can't do it out of principle. Let's look at the Rangers and see what's out there still. If not, I think I know what I'm going to do here. So Brady Shea is still there. Brady Shea is an interesting option just for shots, just for peripherals alone. He gets some pretty good peripherals, so I don't hate the idea of picking him up. I mean, Buchnevich is still there too, but Buchnevich lost the top line spot, so he's no longer my favorite at the moment. But I think I'm just going to go Brady Shea or... So we're going to drop here James Reimer. Okay. So we're going to go Brady Shea or Buchnevich. And just kind of get some extra starts here. Obviously, they're both completely different plays, right? Shea is for peripherals. Buchnevich is for points. So I like either one of these two. Okay, so that's fine. And if those, I mean, the alternative is really like a DeBrusque or something. Let me see if he's out there. I don't think, that's not how you spell DeBrusque. There we go. Okay, he's available. So he actually is my favorite tomorrow against Chicago. Oops, it sometimes opens up. Yeah, he's been on fire. Let's try to grab DeBrusque for Reimer. And I'm going to put a bid in, but I'm not going to do it on camera because I know some people from the league watch and they're going to try to steal my bid. So I'm going to do that off camera. But DeBrusque, just know that DeBrusque is my #1 target here because Boston doesn't have that bad of a schedule and they get Arizona and Detroit here at the end. So he could be a pretty good short to long-term guy for this week, at least since I'm playing the 12th place team. It doesn't matter anyway. Since I'm playing the 12th place team, really all I need is just need to get a good guy. Okay, so let's go over to the points league now, in which we've been doing a lot better. I am in second place. If you'll remember last time I did this update, I think I was in 6th place, and it's a really tight race. I'm 0.750. 3 teams are tied for second right now, and then there's a first place team. First place is currently projected to win. Hopefully they get upset. I don't think they are because I'm not sure 2 orders Wonton sets their lines, which sucks, but whatever. Hoping here, this is a 4th versus 3rd place matchup. This is great for me because it means I can solidify myself into one of the top 2 spots. And you do get a bye if you get 2nd place. So that's huge for me. So what I did is I added a lot for last week to prep for this week, even though I'm playing 12th place. I did a lot of prep work, and what I did is I added Pavel Buchnevich here on right wing. I added, let me see, who else did I add here? I had added Zadina, but I ended up having to drop him, obviously, and I picked up Pierre-Luc Dubois with that, who's been on fire and actually ranked 55th in our league. I had him originally, and so I get to pick him up now, even though I drafted him in the 14th round. So now I pick him back up. Ilya Kovalchuk, playing really well, obviously. I played 20 minutes last game, almost 21 minutes. So I'm going to keep him. I dropped Duclair, I dropped Kaloran, and that's what allowed me to also pick up Hyman here. So Hyman was another pickup that I got. And he got an assist yesterday, so he's another guy that I have as a streamer for this week because they have such a fantastic schedule. My projection is 132.13, which is insane. And I have 54 games to their 34. And I'm not sure they're setting lines, so that might be why that is. Now, my team in this league, I feel like I could take the whole thing. This team, it's same as the Keeper League. The Keeper League, ECFHL in this one, I feel super confident, feel like I could take the whole league. I love where my team is at. Hockrus, that I'm not as confident there. This one I feel really confident in because we have a guy like Tyson. Our defense is insane here. Mark Giordano, Jacob Trouba, John Klingberg, Thomas Chabot, Tyson Berry. I love my defense. I think my defense is in a fantastic spot. Tyson Berry is going to be probably great for the rest of the season. The big question mark for me on this team is mostly my goaltenders. Can they continue to perform? That's the big thing. Why is Carey Price out? He has illness. I could bench Price here and pick up someone for tomorrow. But I don't really need it in this league. I guess I'll take a look right now and see if there's any long-term options because then I could just kind of snag and hold. But my goaltenders are the big question mark. Like if Markstrom plays well, right, 6'9", he's ranked 28th in the league. If Bob can continue to play well like he has been as of late, I mean, he's been really good here, and he's now ranked 174th. Last time I did this show, he was probably like 300 something. Carey Price has been fantastic, 25th overall in the league. So I have two fantastic goaltenders. So if my goaltenders have a good week and the skaters that I have a good week, I'm in the money. And my team has been the highest point getter for many weeks now, right? So it's just when things go right, my team can be really good. The problem is when things go poorly, because I have guys like Carey Price and Sergei Bobrovsky, when things go poorly, they go really poorly. So that's kind of my fear with this team, but I've done a good job as of late of upping my skater total. So my skaters have been producing a lot more than they used to. I used to rely a little bit too much on my goaltenders for points, but now, of course, my skaters, I mean, David Pasternak's obviously been a beast, second overall in the league. Kyle Connor's been fantastic. Pierre-Luc Dubois should be a good boost if he continues to play with Oliver Bjorkstrand. Andrei Kopitar has still been fantastic, phenomenal. What a steal in the 16th round. Whew. Just look at that. Kyle Connor, when did I get him? Got him in the 9th round. Jeez. Mark Giordano's been good for his value. Not great, but fine. Jacob Trouba has actually been pretty fantastic because he has such a good floor, almost a point a night, which is pretty solid for a defenseman, especially when normally they're getting you nothing. John Klingberg has actually been surprisingly kind of good since coming back. Somewhat solid floor of half a point, better than I would expect from John Klingberg, and he's been getting some points. It's weird that Klingberg is actually my worst defenseman by quite a bit. And so at some point I may think about maybe trading Klingberg, but I really like Klingberg for the playoffs just because he has such a nice ceiling, and I love ceiling guys, especially when you're at the top. I don't gain anything by moving away Klingberg. I would rather have that ceiling going into the playoffs. And if Klingberg can go off for even 2 games, we're in the money. So that's really kind of what I'm eyeing. Timo Meier is a guy who maybe will turn into a streamer at some point. But again, he's super similar to Trouba now, where he has such a good floor because of all those shots and hits and blocks that it's kind of hard to get rid of him. He's just a good floor guy that on any given night he can get you a point or something like that. And if you take a look at skaters, like when they can get you a point, that's pretty solid. I'll take a point from a skater. It's not the best thing in the world, but if you can have really good goaltender nights and get a point from every skater, then you're looking pretty good in this league. So I'm feeling really good. I have some options here of who could. I have 2 streamer spots, which is awesome. I have Zach Hyman and Pavel Buchnevich, so 2 streamer spots, plus a team that already looks fantastic. I mean, I think this team is scary as hell. So I feel really good. I don't need to make any ads right now. I could put Carey Price on IR Plus for funsies and see what happens. But that's fine. I don't really care about Chris Kreider. I dropped Duclair. I dropped Kaloran. It's a points league. So in a points league, I'm in first, so I don't really care. I'll keep an eye out on Duclair and see what happens. Kevin Hayes has actually been really interesting, but he's a center, and I'm already filled up at center, same as Denos. There really aren't that many good long-term options here at the moment. I like David Krejci. Yeah, there's just not that many good long-term options. And I picked up Tarasenko straight to IR so that I could just hold him and see what happens. Again, first place, right? So who cares if I have him here? Because at the end of the day, if he comes back, it's just a net benefit for me. Worst case, I drop him. It really wasn't, it's no problem holding Tarasenko there, seeing what happens. and Carey Price seems to only have an illness. So there you go. That is Building Winners Week 17. Let me know how your weeks are going, how you're prepping. Hopefully this was helpful. Next time, which I think will be Thursday, for the next episode, we'll go over kind of the other teams. Let's go through how I actually match up, take a look at how I've matched up in the past now, and try to really prep and also walk you through kind of what I'm prepping for the weekend and maybe even look ahead to next week. And then on Sunday or Saturday, we'll release another video, another Building Winners segment, and we'll talk about actually prepping for next week like we used to. So welcome back to Building Winners. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.